I'm Timotab, and today I'm going to solve Killer Caged Degac Rellik by Raygun Ultra. It hardly seems possible, but this is my 100th solve video, and I've managed to find a puzzle that has a 100 connection in order to be able to make it relevant. It's also been pretty much exactly 6 months since I started this, and I have thoroughly enjoyed the journey so far, and practicing these puzzles has actually made me a better solver and also a better setter. I hope you've been enjoying these, and I look forward to many more puzzles to come. All right, let's have a look at the rules. The grid is set on a torus and only has 100 cells. There's the 100 connection. This means that row 1 and row 11 are in fact the same row. The same is true of column 1 and column 11. So let's see what that means. Let's shade all these in. I'm going to get there eventually. Nearly there. All right. So there is my 10 by 10 grid making up 100 cells. Now, if you imagined that this grid were printed on a rubber sheet, I could take the rubber sheet and I could curl it around until the two sides met. And I would end up with a cylinder. And then if I took the two ends of the cylinder and curved them around so that the circles met, then that gives us a torus, which is a fancy mathematician's word for a donut. That's the whole kind of donut, not the filled kind of donut. And so what that's saying is really that this cell here is the exact same cell as this one over here. And this one here is the exact same cell as this one here. And likewise, this is the same as this one, and this is the same as this one. Okay. So, within the grid, there are 10 3x3 boxes that must be found. So I am going to locate 10 different boxes. Maybe that's one. Maybe that's one. And I'll fill the grid with 10 of these 3x3 boxes. This means that there are 10 cells in the grid that contain no digit, and blank cells use a 0 to solve uniquely. So that means that because the grid has 100 real cells, barring the duplicates for row 11 and column 11, we're going to have 90 of those cells are in boxes, and then 10 that are our empty or 0 cells. Okay. All right. So, yeah, I think that's right. Yes. So we'll have 10 empty cells plus the 9 boxes, plus 10 boxes that are 9 cells each. That gives us a total of 100 cells, so there won't be any overlapping boxes. Okay. In addition, normal sudoku rules apply, so we are going to place the digits 1 to 9 in every row, every column, there we go, and every 3x3 box, noting that this might not actually be one of the boxes, without repetition. Digits in a cage must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage, and digits cannot repeat within a cage. So those 3 digits sum to 14, but remember that one of them could be an effective 0 if it's an empty cage. Or if it's an empty cell, I should say. Okay, the grey lines in the grid are palindrome lines, meaning that digits along the lines read the same forwards as backwards. So this cell is going to have the same value as that cell, that one will be the same as that one will be the same as that one, and so on, and the same for the other line. That's all the rules. I am going to restart the puzzle to reset the timer, and let's begin. Okay, so every 3x3 box that we are going to place has the digits 1 to 9 in. The secret of Sudoku is that the digits 1 to 9 add up to 45, and therefore every row, column, and box in a regular Sudoku will also add up to 45. So these 3 cages must have the digits 1 to 9 in, because we're not allowed to repeat digits in the cage. Therefore, that must be a box. This must also be a box. And this must be a box. So we've got 3 boxes already found. Okay. What do I think of next? Okay. This cell here is a single cell 6 cage. The only way to fill that is to have that with a 6 in it. And that means it must be part of a box, because the only cells that are outside of a box are the empty cells. So that is the exact same digit as that. So that is also going to be light green. And this 4, we can make the same analysis there. That's a 4. That's a 4. And this can't reach the green, the light green. So this is a new box altogether. Okay. So those 2 are the exact same cell. Okay. This pink box cannot go down any because it's bumped into purple. So those 2 must be part of the pink box. What I think I'm going to do is use the pen tool. If you're not familiar with the pen tool, then you can click on the cog icon, which is your settings, and then enable pen tool right at the top there. Okay, so I can, let's bound this box. There. We can bound this box here. We can bound this box here. And we can put a top boundary on there. Okay. Now, what? Okay. We have effectively a 10 by 10 grid. And what we have been told, I actually misspoke earlier. The rules are slightly different from what I said. The rules actually say is that the digits 1 to 9 need to be placed once each in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. That's slightly different from without repetition, because without repetition means I could potentially have more than one cell. I could have multiple cells that don't have any digits from 1 to 9 in. But if I need to place them once each, which is what the rules actually say, then that means 9 of the 10 cells must be Sudoku digits, with exactly 1 in each row or column being our empty cell. So that means that we should be able to use that fact to help us. The question is, how? Well, yes. So, for example, here, if this were the pink box, then there's no way I could put those two cells into a box, and therefore both of them would have to be empty cells. But if they're both empty cells, I then only have 8 cells in which to put the digits 1 to 9, which I cannot do. So those must be pink, which means that is also pink. And I can mark that. Okay, this on the palindrome is a digit from 1 to 9, which means this must be a digit from 1 to 9, and therefore it must be in a box. It can't be any of the boxes that we already have, so we'll mark it orange. Now, at most it can go up 1, so it has to come down 1 at least. Could do that. It could do that, which would include those. Okay, so it can't be those and those, because then it would be overlapping with purple. So that means that those two are definitely in. It has to go to the right, and now that it's gone to the right, it can't go down, so those two are definitely in. Okay, that's pretty nice. Just spotted something with this green. I can only go to the right 1 with green, so I must go to the left at least 1. Okay, this is the 1, 2, 3. That's the third cell from this end of the palindrome. This is the third cell from this end of the palindrome, so that must be in a new box. And now this has to go at least 2 that way, or exactly 2 that way, in fact. I can put a bound on there. It can only go up 1 at the most, so those 3 are definitely in red. Right. Just realized something. Okay, that cell is, let's draw that in. That cell is not in our grid. That is an empty cell. But what I should have thought about is the other cells that are this green cage represented in the other, in the column 11 and row 11. So we get those 3. We get those 3, and this one is the same cell as this one, and this one, and this one. So we can do that. So that goes like that. That we can mark. That we can mark. Okay, so now that we have determined that this is not in a box, we know that this must be, because otherwise, again, we're not going to have enough spaces to put all the digits from 1 to 9 once each. So if that's in a box, it can't be red, it must be orange. So those three are now orange. So we get to complete orange. All right. This can't, or it could go into red. All right, these two. These two must be in a box because we have already got our one non-box cell in this column. And that cell is going to be the same as that cell. That's going to be the top row. And the only way that fits is exactly like that. So what color should we have that one? Oh, that's a new color. Okay, and let's mark that box. And that bounds are pink. So now pink must take those three, and that's the same box. So we can now bound that. And there, and there, and now that can't be in. That is the same as that digit. That is the same as that digit by the torus. That digit can't be in a box, and that is the same as that one. So now these two must be in a box, and the only box they can be in is light green. So those go to there. And it can't go any further left because of pink. So it must do that. And let's, forgot to mark that in earlier, and let's do that. There. That there. Okay, that, right mode, that is not valid. That's going to be empty. That has to be empty because there's no room to put it in a box, and then by palindrome, that is empty. Red has to complete, so that goes like that. We bound that off, and then that is empty. That must be empty, it can't fit. These three have to be in a box. And that is these three, which is the right-hand edge. So these are our new box. Let's draw a boundary around that. And then finally, we can see that that's not in. So our last one, I've run out of my normal colors, but let's make this dark green because it's going to be far enough away from the other dark green. Okay, and that is our boxes. we can count the empty cells. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've already counted this one because that's that one. 8, 9, 10, and we've already counted this one because that's this one. Okay, we have our boxes, and now we just have to do our extended sudoku. All right. Where do we look? Okay, as we already mentioned, every box of the sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9, and so adds up to 45. These add up to 22. These 3 cells add up to 14. Actually, I'm going to remove all those X's because then it's a little easier to see. I'll just leave them as white. Okay. And I'm going to draw in that boundary there. Well, that's going to annoy me. Okay, so these add up to 22. These add up to 14, but this has a value of 0 being empty. So these two must add up to 14. 22 plus 14 is 36. So these two add up to 9 in order to make 45. But these 4, remembering that this one is 0 because it's empty, add up to 14. So 14 minus 9 is 5. So that should be a 5. And that is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th cell along there. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 there. This 8 cage has a 5 in it. It has 2 more cells. That has to be a 1, 3 pair. Okay. Right, we have a 16 cage here in 2 cells. That can only be achieved with a 7, 9 pair. And that 7, 9 is this cell right here. So that I need to add either 2 to the 9 or 4 to the 7 to make that an 11 cage that works. We have a 3-cell 12 cage, of which 1 is empty. So those 2 cells add up to 12. Obviously, I can't do 6, 6. I can't do 5, 7 because of the 5 in the box. I can't do 4, 8. Because of the 4 in the box. Wait. My brain is messed up. That is not a 1, 3 pair, that is a 1, 2 pair. Okay, 5 plus 3 is equal to 8, not 5 plus 4. That's better. Because now, so now I can't do 6, 6, obviously, because that repeats a 6. I can't do 5, 7, that repeats a 5. I can't do 8, 4, because that repeats a 4. So this must be 9, 3. Right, so that 1, 2 is a 1 or 2 there. That makes this digit 7 or 6 to make this 8 cage work. but it can't be a 6 because I've got a 6 in the light green box. So that must be 7. That must be 1. That's that same 1, so that's a 2. This 3, 9 puts a 3 or a 9 here. This is 5. These two cells must add up to 9 to make the 14 cage work. So that can't be a 9. That must be a 3. That must be a 6. Okay, and these 3 cells, we already have 1, 2, 3. We don't have 4. We do have 5. We need a 6 and an 8. So it's 4, 6, 8. This cell is on the palindrome, so that's there. And by that 4, that is either a 6 or an 8, so I can remove a 4 from here. Okay, this is very nice. This 3 bounced back to there. That's a 3. That's a 9. Okay. So right. Uh, there is a 1 in this column. 3 cells add up to 9 without including a 1 must be 2, 3, 4. So that means I can put 2, 3, 4 into all of those cells because they are equivalent. And then this 12 cage, that can't be a 2 because I can't put a 10 here. This must be a 9 or an 8 to make that 12 cage work. That 8 or 9 is the same as that cell there. All right. 14 in 2 cells. Yeah, because we've only got 2 actual cells that are in that cage. Is either 5, 9 or 8, 6. Can't be 8, 6 because we have a 6 in the box. So that is 5, 9. And in fact, because of the 5 in the column, we know the order. We can replicate that 5 over here. Okay. Where to look next? We have a 7, 9 that's on the palindrome. They are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 cells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Come on, there we go. So that is a 7, 9 pair. How does that help? Not sure yet. Let's see where else we can do something. 14 cage. This 4 means that that is not a 4. And in fact, it means that that is not a 4. That's a 3. So we get 3s there. And that 3 then makes this 9 by the 12 cage. That's 9 by being the same digit. These 3 digits are 4, 3, and 8. That's not a 3 by Sudoku. All right, we've got a 4-cell 20 cage here with a blank cell. So we have 12, that needs to be an 8. That makes those a 3-4 pair. All right. What is our next thing to look at? This 18 cage, I think. We already have 6, so these 2 digits need to add up to 12. If that's a 3, that's a 9, but we already have a 9 in the column. So that's 4, and that is 8. That makes this a 3, and it looks like we have now completed one of our boxes. We have our pale green box done. Fantastic. Okay. These 4 cells, because that is empty, add up to 22. So if I subtract 5, even better, by this column, the only digit that can be is a 7. That is the same as this one, and in fact we can put our 7 and 8 in there. So that's 12. So these two add up to 10. And they can't be 1, 9. They can't be 3, 7. They can't be 4, 6. So they must be 8, 2. I don't think we know the order, but that digit there is that digit there. So that's a 2 or an 8. Okay, these cells are by Sudoku 1, 2, and 4 to complete the box. And that's not a 2. 1, 2, and 4 is 7, plus 7 is 14, plus 8 is 22. Yep, we've got that correct. Fantastic. Okay, let's have a look. Where next? Okay, there is not an 8 here. There is an 8 in one of those two. That means that the top 2 rows of our yellow box do not contain an 8. So the bottom row of our yellow box contains an 8 in one of those two, which means that one of these two contains an 8, but it can't be that one because of our 2, 8 pair. That's an 8. and that's an 8. That's very nice indeed. Okay. This 20 cage goes around here, so I need to make sure I include that one. This 9 resolves our 7 and 9 here. That is this one here, that's the 7, that's the 9. Okay, those aren't 9s and those aren't 9s, so one of those two is a 9. Where's our next deduction? Right. 14 in 3 cells. Actually, before I do that, that 7 is this digit. That is 7. That makes that 4 to fulfill the 11 cage. Yeah, I need to keep remembering to look around the edges. Right, one of those two is an 8. Okay, 14 in 4 digits. That is 8. That leaves 6 to make that. So that's a 1, 2, 3 triple. That means that that cell is that one by the palindrome. So that's a 1, 2, or 3. Those two cells are those two. So they are 1, 2, and 3. But in fact, cannot be 3. So those aren't 3s. That's a 3. That's a 3. Okay. Where does 9 go in this row? And it goes in one of these two cells in green. Yeah, it can't go there because of this 9 in pink there. So that means it goes in one of those two cells. But where does it go in this column? And it can't go in this orange cell because of this 9. So it must go in one of these 3 cells in green. But if it must go in one of those 2 and in one of those 3, that's the only place it can go. That's that cell there. We can clear that. And now this 17 cage comes in handy because we have 12 there. We need another 5 to make 17. That is not an 8 because of that 8 up there. Okay, the remaining digits in this row, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 6, 5, 6, and 8. Those two can't be 5, so that's the 5. That is a 6, 8 pair. That makes this 1, 2, and 7. That makes this a 6, and 6 plus 5 is 11, plus 3 is 14. Good, we have that correct. That 6 makes that 8, which makes that 8, which makes that 2, which makes that 2 by the palindrome, and that's an 8. This is a really nice puzzle. Okay, these two, we have a 19 cage. We already have a 3 and a 7 to make 10, so these two must add up to make 9. Can't be 1 8 because of the 8, can't be 2 7, can't be 3 6, that must be 4 5. That 4 5 there is the same cell as this one here, so that is a 4 or a 5. I don't think we know which one it is yet. Okay, by sudoku, this is 1 and 6. That 6 looks down there. That's not a 6. In fact, it's not an 8 either. That's a 4. That's a 6. That 1 6 goes here. All right. This 20 cage, that being empty, we have 16 here. We need 4 to make the 20 cage, so that's a 4. That means that that is not 4. Okay. All right, we have a 12 cage in 3 cells, but that one is empty. So 4 would go with an 8, 5 would go with a 7. Oh, but that 8 is telling me which way round that goes. That's 7. That's 5. So that's 5 and that's 4. This is really nice, and I am enjoying it a lot. Just seeing where the next deduction is. That 2 resolves are 4 and 2 in green. That is a 6-8 pair, as we've already noted on the bottom row. That's a 5. These are 1, 6, and 7. And that can't be 1 or 6, so that's 7. So that makes that a 1, 6 pair. These two digits then, by sudoku, are 2 and 9. Do I know the order of those? I don't think so. All right. I have a 1, 6 pair in this row. Does that help any? That gives me 3 digits to go, which are 9, 7, and 3. That is not 3 by the column or 7 by the box, so that's the 9. And then that must be a 9. This 6 makes that 8, and that's 6. So that's our 6 and 8 up here. This digit is the same as this digit. So that is not 4, and that is not 7. So that's a 4. Four in purple is now here. It's the only place it can go. That leaves us with 1, 5, and 6. Those two aren't the 5 because of this 5. So that's a 5. That's now 1 and 6. In fact, that 3 resolves the 3 and the 7 in purple. Okay, this 11 cage, effectively 2 cells, that is a 2. That makes that a 1 and that a 2. And there's our duplicates. Okay. These 3 digits are from 1, 3, 6, and 8. Now, those 4 digits add up to 18, but these 3 only add up to 10, so that must be an 8. This 2 in orange resolves our 1 and 2 here. That makes that a 2 by palindrome. That 1 makes that a 7 and a 1. Okay, these 3 digits should now be known and hopefully add up to 15. They are 2, 5, and 8. And they do indeed add up to 15. That is not 2 or 8, so that's 5. That is not 8, so that is 2, and that's the 8. These 3 digits by sudoku are 1, 3, and 4. Yep, 1, 3, and 4. That one is not a 4. That's not a 3. That's also not 4. So that is 4. Okay, these 2 digits are 1 and 3. And in this column, we still need a 7 and a 5. This green, light green 5 resolves those 2. The 1, 3 pair in this row makes this 2 or 9, but the column makes it a 9. That's a 9. That's a 2. That's a 9. This 3 makes that 1, and that 3. That 1, and that 3. A 21 cage in which we already have 14 needs a 7. Wait, I've got a mistake there. Oh, that was just a typo. That's a 3. Yeah, that needs a 7. That then needs a 6 to complete the box. And let's just check this cage. 8 plus 9 is indeed 17. That 6 makes this a 1 and a 6. 1 and 6 in the row makes that 3. And this by palindrome makes that 6. That's 1. That's 6. That's 1. It looks to be done. Blank cells uses 0. Right, so I wonder if we just fill in all these blank cells with 0 that it'll give us our Okay, what have I missed? Eight, 3 and 6 is 17. Right, let's check our ones first of all. Should have a 1 in each box. Yeah. 2s. 0. All right, I've made a mistake somewhere, I think. The question is where? Oh, I haven't made a mistake. I just haven't completed it. There's a 6 there and a 1 there. There we go. Yeah, that is a beautiful, beautiful puzzle. Much more approachable than you might think, as long as you understand how the topology of the grid works. Yeah, with 100 real cells plus the bonus cells around the edge, I think that was a great puzzle to do for my 100th video. If you like this solve, then please hit the like button. You can subscribe to see some more, and I would love to hear your comments. I'm looking forward to next time. Be seeing you.